What if I told you that in 1963, America built a car powered by jet technology, could run on anything from tequila to Chanel No. 5, and was supposed to change cars forever? The Chrysler turbine car, America's first turbine-powered car, debuted in 1963. Despite its revolutionary potential, fewer than 100 people ever drove it. So, what made this car so groundbreaking, and why did it vanish into obscurity? Buckle up, gearheads, we're taking a ride through the story of one of history's most fascinating automotive experiments. To understand the turbine car, we need to rewind to post-World War II America. The 1950s and 60s were an era of boundless optimism. Jet engines were transforming aviation, and automakers wondered, could this technology power our cars too? Chrysler, hungry to out-innovate GM and Ford, began experimenting with gas turbines in the late 1940s. Unlike traditional engines with pistons, crankshafts, and valves, a gas turbine works more like a jet. Air is compressed, mixed with fuel, and ignited, spinning a turbine wheel to generate power. Fewer moving parts, smoother operation, and the ability to run on almost any flammable liquid, from diesel to Chanel No. 5. Chrysler built its first turbine prototype in 1954, the CR1, but it was loud, inefficient, and slower than a V8. They kept working on and improving their design. What made the turbine car so groundbreaking? The heart of the turbine car was its revolutionary gas turbine engine. Unlike traditional piston engines, this engine operated on a continuous combustion process, offering several potential advantages. By 1963, Chrysler was ready to stun the world. They unveiled the turbine car, a limited-run, hand-built marvel with a futuristic design, a whisper-quiet engine, and a promise of a turbine-powered future. Let's pop the hood and see what made this car tick. Under that sleek, futuristic body sat Chrysler's fourth-generation A831 gas turbine. Years of research and development contributed to this, the heart of the beast. Here's the genius of it. Push the start button, and in just 60 seconds, the turbine spins to a mind-blowing 44,500 RPM. That's nearly 5 times faster than a Formula One. This rapid rotation compressed the incoming air, heating it to a scorching 1,700 degrees Fahrenheit. Fuel was then injected into this superheated air, igniting and creating a controlled explosion that drove the turbine. The result? 130 horsepower. It might not seem like much by today's standards, but remember, this was 1963, and there were other advantages. No radiator was needed, eliminating the risk of overheating. No coolant to worry about. That turbine engine really gives the car a powerful boost, and the best part is you can skip all those pesky oil changes that piston engines need. Starting the turbine was like lighting a barbecue. Turning the key and a spark plug would ignite the fuel. After 60 seconds, it's idled smoothly, ready to roll. Drivers reported near-silent operation, with only a faint whoosh as they accelerated, but there were issues. Throttle lag was a headache. Punch the gas and it'd take 2 seconds for the turbine to respond, a lifetime in drag racing. And while it could gulp down kerosene or tequila, fuel economy at idle was, well, let's just say you wouldn't want to drive this in traffic. So, Chrysler understood that to truly sell the future, the car had to look the part. They turned to the renowned Italian design house Ghia, famous for their elegant and aerodynamic designs, to craft a body that was straight out of a Star Trek episode. The result was an absolute masterpiece of aerodynamic styling. It featured a distinctive copper-colored paint job, appropriately dubbed turbine bronze, that shimmered in the sunlight. The headlights were cleverly concealed, giving the front end a clean, uncluttered look. The entire silhouette of the car screamed space age, hinting at the revolutionary technology that lay beneath. The car's interior totally matched its super futuristic outside. Like, the white leather seats were crazy comfy and fancy, a cool contrast with the bronze color of the car. Instead of the usual knobs and stuff on the dashboard, it had push buttons. Plus, this awesome turquoise light glowed from the instrument panel, and you didn't shift gears with a lever but with a dial. It made the whole inside feel like something out of a sci-fi movie. Chrysler made a bold decision. They built 55 of these cars, not for sale, but for a massive real-world test. The majority of the turbine cars were loaned to the public, to ordinary families across America. Over 200 families had the opportunity to drive the turbine car, racking up over 1 million miles of combined driving experience. The feedback was generally positive, even enthusiastic, but not everyone was completely sold on the turbine revolution. Chrysler's masterstroke of marketing and real-world testing. Ordinary people, selected from across the country, were given the opportunity to drive the turbine car for 3 months, experiencing it in their everyday lives. They fueled it at special Chrysler-provided pumps, ensuring the engine received the correct type of fuel. But this also allowed Chrysler to control the experiment and gather valuable data. The turbine's remarkable ability to burn a variety of alternative fuels led to some rather wild and often humorous experiments. People tried running it on soybean oil with some success. Then there was the legendary tequila test. Yes, trust me, someone actually poured tequila into the fuel tank of a Chrysler turbine car. And to the surprise of many, it worked. The engine ran, albeit probably not very efficiently. But these quirky fuel experiments highlighted the engine's versatility. However, not all the quirks were quite so charming. The exhaust, exiting at extremely high temperatures, could singe the clothing of nearby pedestrians if they weren't careful. The engine, while incredibly smooth at speed, guzzled fuel at low speeds and during idling, making it impractical for city driving. And repairs, when needed, required highly specialized mechanics, a far cry from the neighborhood garage that could fix your average V8. Furthermore, emissions, while not a major concern in the early 1960s, were. Well, let's just say they were decidedly pre-catalytic converter levels. By 1964, Chrysler was beginning to face a harsh reality. This incredible futuristic car might never be commercially viable. Now let's talk money. So the costs associated with producing the turbine car were astronomical. Each turbine engine, hand-built with meticulous precision, cost Chrysler over $10,000 to produce. Adjusted for inflation, that's over $100,000 per engine today. Tighter emissions regulations were looming on the horizon, threatening to make the turbine's relatively dirty exhaust a major liability. And then the 1973 oil crisis struck, sending fuel prices soaring and making gas guzzlers public enemy number one. Reluctantly, with a heavy heart, Chrysler pulled the plug on the turbine car program. By 1966, nearly all of the 55 cars were rounded up and, tragically, crushed. Only 9 survive today, preserved in museums and private collections, silent witnesses to a bold dream. So, was the Chrysler turbine car a failure? In terms of commercial success, yes, absolutely. It never made it to mass production, and the vast majority of the cars were destroyed. But in a broader sense, calling it a failure is far too simplistic. It was a bold, audacious experiment. It proved that gas turbines could work in automobiles, paving the way for later concepts and experiments, even if those concepts didn't directly result in turbine-powered sedans becoming commonplace. It inspired cars like the Jaguar CX-75, a hybrid supercar with a turbine range extender, and the Chevrolet EcoJet, a concept car designed by Jay Leno that also utilized a turbine engine. The turbine car's failure to launch commercially doesn't negate its influence, and perhaps more importantly, the turbine car's spirit of innovation, that willingness to challenge conventional engine design, lives on in the electric vehicles and hybrids that are becoming increasingly common on our roads today. These are technologies that, just a few decades ago, seemed as far-fetched as a car powered by, well, anything other than gasoline. Now, the few surviving turbine cars are primarily museum exhibits, relics of a future we never quite reached. But with companies exploring hydrogen and synthetic fuels, and constantly pushing the boundaries of engine technology, could turbines make a comeback? It is not outside of the realm of possibilities. Maybe one day, that distinctive jet-like whoosh will return to our highways in some form. Or was this ambitious project a fleeting glimpse into a future we were never truly meant to have? A tantalizing what-if in automotive history? Only time will tell. What do you think? Should Chrysler have doubled down on turbine power? Could a modern turbine car actually work today with all our advancements in materials and engineering? Could they have overcome the challenges, or was it a technological dead end? Drop your thoughts and theories in the comments below. I'm genuinely curious to what you think. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the fascinating world of the Chrysler turbine car, make sure to check out our previous video, Very Rare 1961 Studebaker Hawk. You won't be disappointed. And while you're here, absolutely smash that subscribe button. We've got tons more automotive history, weird car facts, and engineering explorations coming your way. I'll see you in the next one.